Hi, everyone, and welcome to our strategies for the month. So, we are taking the feedback we gained from the student surveys at the end of last year and are using that to kind of determine what strategies we can share this year to help support our students as well as our colleagues. So, we're going to look about how we're going to empower English language development. And this is taking the student feedback and turning it into classroom fuel with the use of scaffolds, modeling, and PACE.
The student voice is so important, everything that we do. So some of the things that we heard from our students is slow down and give us time, show examples before asking us to try. So we're going to talk about ways that we could scaffold instruction for them.
So this is kind of framed around three pillars, and we want to look at the pacing. So a big piece of it was the slowing down. Students want us to build in more wait time and allow for them to process and break down that cognitive load for them. The clarity. We students want to know, what does a good example look like? We're going to dig into this in a little bit, but we need to share out what is that expectation and what is the model of what we are asking them to do. And then finally, we want to provide that support. So either using sentence frames or sentence stems to kind of help build that bridge to that language gap.
When it comes to modeling, we want to incorporate the explicit instruction model of the gradual release of responsibility, the I do, we do, you do. Understanding that as a teacher and as we know our students, maybe we don't want to start with the teacher demonstrating. Maybe we want to start in this a different part of the cycle with we do it. We do it all together and then you do it. And then I'm going to show you another example. Or maybe you want to start with having them attack it first. So as we start to know our students and start to work through the gradual release, we might see that a different starting point and navigating through a different way might be even more beneficial. But the most important thing that we want to do is provide those multiple exposures to the concept. So whether you're starting with, we're going to do it first, then I'm going to let you try, and then I'm going to show you another example, or whether you're going to start with it, the most important is that we're giving them multiple exposures to the same concepts.
Going back to that clarity piece is the WAGOLL, the visual standard. So, how are we sharing with our students what a good one looks like? So, this is when we're taking student work, or we may have a teacher consensus model, but we're displaying it so students can see what the expectation is. And this is going to set that high bar for excellence and eliminate that ambiguity. Display it on the wall or screen. It says you can annotate a success criteria. So putting up that consensus model and walking through what that might look like or sound like. And it could be teacher created or it could be from past students, but allowing students to see what that standard is and what that expectation is.
The 7 second rule is really powerful. And when we talk about this, we're talking about 7 seconds of wait time. When we're asking a question, wait the full 7 seconds. Did that feel long when I waited a full 7 seconds? It does until we're used to that. Before we call on anyone, allow that time. This allows our English learners to translate the question, think of the answer, and then translate it back to English. Remember that silence is not a lack of learning, it's the sound of processing. So give your students that 7 seconds and allow for that time and space to occur when asking questions and allowing students to respond.
The Think, Pair, Share protocol. I know if you've been with us before, we've shared this protocol many times because there's so many ways to adapt it and modify it to build and what you need in your classroom. But giving the students time to think, 1 to 2 minutes, so they can silently reflect. If you want, they can jot down some answers, or they could draw pictures or images. They could write it in their native language. And then the opportunity to share with a partner. So this is allowing, because it is low stakes, it's allowing students to practice their pronunciation of vocabulary they may be unfamiliar with. It's also a time to allow them kind of to process and think through the answer together with someone else. And then the sharing can be done in various ways. But once those partners have come to a consensus and have a response that feel confident in, sharing out in a large group, or they are doing posters, It allows for them to get feedback but it takes away that high pressure, and sometimes our students become quiet when they're asked to share.
When it comes to another strategy, think about the sentence frames and sentence stems. So the sentence stem is the beginning of a sentence used to kickstart your thoughts. The sentence frame is used to fill in blanks that allow students to see where key vocabulary should go. So when it comes to our vocabulary, consider the tier 2 and 3 words used within the frames. Have them present and allow them to interchange them within the sentence frame, building confidence and allowing them the structure they need to be successful in whatever content you're teaching.
Visual safety nets, looking at our anchor chart. So going back to the WAGOLL and what is that expectation and what a good one looks like. We want to model these and put these posters up around the classroom. It's serving as a permanent reference that's going to lower the anxiety and boost that independence for our English learners. So making them colorful, it could be color dependent on either subject or topic. Permanency, it could be up for a week, it could be up for an entire quarter, or it could be up for the entire year, depending on what the information is being shared, and making sure that we make them accessible so that it is clearly written and large enough that students can visually see it throughout the entire classroom.
When it comes to scaffolding, it's not about lowering the bar, it's about building the ladder for every student to reach it. Thanks for joining us, and we look forward to empowering you with more tips to support English language development.